your spirit stayed strong. Through the years you were ill. They caged you like the animals and tortured you, but still they could never hurt. What can I...
Hi and welcome back to Animal Liberation TV. So I thought I best say something about Barry's anniversary. Obviously last year I tried to make a bit of a fuss because it was the 20th anniversary. The first thing to say is I hope it's going down well at LabCorp right now. There's people stood at the gates right now at LabCorp. I hope that's going well, and well done to those people. And thank you from Barry. I was speaking on his behalf because Barry HQ. I get the feeling Barry's spirit kind of floats around me a bit. But you know, on Barry's behalf, I'm saying thank you to those people. As a friend of his, you know, it's nice that people are marking it with something. I'm sure other people are doing various bits on the interweb and whatever else about Barry. So well done, and thank you very much to everyone that is paying respect to him. I've talked about Barry a lot on this channel, like I explained in my appeal episode, The Chant Has Just Begun, part 1, kind of about motivations and how Barry is a big inspiration for everything I'm doing at the minute, really, in every sense, actually. And I hope he's a big inspiration to all of you. I've never painted him out as an angel. I've never painted myself out as an angel. That's what I'm always saying. Don't hold people up as heroes. We're all just dickheads going through life, doing our bumper things, you know, making our mistakes as we do in our lives and choices and personal lives and whatever else. And, you know, everyone has their mental health problems and all that sort of thing. So it's like, it's ridiculous to hold up anyone as a hero who happens to have done some animal liberation stuff. And Barry wouldn't want to be held up as a hero, as I've said. And, you know, I've talked a lot about Barry on this channel. So there's not really... I don't feel like there's too much more I want to say about, you know, his actions or the hunger strikes or anything, particularly at this point in itself, because I've covered a lot of the facts quite thoroughly, I like to think, on this channel now. But what I thought I would do is read out I've only got about 3 or 4 letters left from him now, you know, because of over the years. I mean, I kept the letters from these periods, but like in the early 90s, as I moved various addresses, I got rid of stuff, including lots of letters, because I thought, what use are they? But wish I'd kept hold of him, like I've said before, but I haven't. So I thought I'd read out one of his letters to me. And ironically, you know, synchronicity in the universe works quite well like this. Let's have a look here. So it's got Barry Horne, VC 2141, which is his number every time he was in prison. HMP Full Sutton, York. He spent years in Full Sutton, basically. 4th of 11/98, so it's it's today. That's good synchronicity, that. And that's, what's that? That's 24 years ago exactly today. It's weird, isn't it? Looking at someone's handwriting. Oh dear, oh dear. So there we have it. Look, the 4th of 11/98, exactly 24 years ago, Barry wrote that date and put ink to paper to write me a letter. Now then, Max. Hey, so, this is during his 3rd hunger strike, this letter. But it's fairly near the beginning, I think the 4th of 11th, so I can't remember what day he started it. But I think this is in the first few weeks. I mean, he's still in prison at this point. He's not gone to York Hospital, where he spent quite a few weeks. This might have been when they put him in a so-called hunger strike cell. They moved him from his normal cell when he said he wasn't going to eat again. And they moved him into, as if they've got a hunger strike cell, but Full Sutton, it's a category A maximum security prison. One of the sort of top maximum security ones in the country. Keith spent a few years in there. I visited him a lot in there, which you'll know about if you follow my channel. I spent years visiting Keith in Full Sutton. And I was actually allowed to visit Barry once in full Sutton on that third hunger strike, which I'll go into in Badger Stories, because I wasn't actually allowed to see Barry, but the Home Office made an exception when they wanted us to basically talk him off his hunger strike. Oh dear. Right, so this is in the first few weeks of the hunger strike, and I remember writing the letter to him actually. I mean, we were doing demos outside the prison for him, and lots of other places all around the country, and running the hunger strike support campaign at the same time. And actually, I was looking after my son full time at that point as well for a few weeks. So it was a really busy. It was tough juggling all that around actually, but just shows you what you can do if you put your mind to it. So this is in the first few weeks, and I'd written this letter to him because my partner at the time had told me before he embarked on the 68-day hunger strike he was going to do it, and he was going to go. He was willing to go all the way, which I've mentioned before on his channel. And so I wrote a letter to him, kind of like the friendship part of me was kind of overwhelmed by the idea that I was going to lose him, and through fairly horrific process. So I wrote a letter to him, not begging him to come off the hunger strike, but I kind of tried to express my feelings of how I didn't want him to do it, really, which was difficult because I knew there was no way he was going to listen to me, and I also didn't want to seem like I wasn't supporting him, or that I thought it was a bad idea. So it's very difficult for me to write that letter to him because I had to think carefully about how I put it. But the human part of me, the person that loved him, was kind of asking him not to do the hunger strike, really, even though I knew it was pointless exercise. But I had to do it for my own thing. This is his letter in response to kind of say, in not so many words, I'm sorry, but I'm still going to go on with it, and I don't think you quite understand the thought process, Max, which I probably didn't, but I kind of did, and I didn't. I think now I realise exactly the impact it can have, his hunger strike. But at the time I felt like, I don't think this is necessarily going to achieve that much, and I really don't want to lose my mate. This guy that I feel is like a bit of an older brother figure to me, like I've explained. Anyway, so this is his letter reply. Now then, Max, how's your megaphone? So that's because I was doing a lot of HLS stuff with the megaphone at that point, and also when we had the demos outside the prison, we'd have the megaphone. I use the megaphone quite a bit because everyone knows from this channel I'm gobby and cocky. All right, mate. Smiley face. So long before there was all these, I don't know what they call emojis or whatever. Look, Barry's doing double exclamation mark, smiley face underneath it, you see. He was way ahead of everyone in every sense. Goes without saying that I value your support, so I won't say thanks for that. Seriously though, your support means a lot, mate. Appreciated. So he thanks me anyway. So there you go. This is something I'd mentioned before about the prisoner letter support, and this time I'm free. He's in prison. All's well with me, as my partner's name at the time, will have told you, because she was visiting him every day. Totally focused on the job in hand and in control of things mentally. Just hope my body can keep it up as well! Exclamation mark. Actually, things on that score are pretty much the same as last time, so I shouldn't start to feel rough till I'm around 35 days plus. Bloody hell. It's funny, isn't it? The idea of someone planning their own kind of slow death and monitoring the stages of it. It's pretty strange. Here's hoping. Well, I read what you said about there being a better future and things will change. So there was me in some futile effort trying to say to him, don't go on the hunger strike. Things are going to change. There is a brighter future. Hold on tight. That's kind of. But this was because I was really kind of desperately worried about him going towards his slow death. you know, I couldn't help but express my feelings as a friend. I had to, you know. Like I said, it was tricky. Max, you're missing the point, I think, in brackets. Um, which, to be honest, maybe I was. I mean, I was still only like 27 at this point. He'd already done 2 hunger strikes, and I didn't want to lose my friend, you know. So I wasn't really thinking so much of tactics. I was thinking more about, oh, I didn't want to lose my friend. That was the overriding thing for me, to be honest. Um, but I didn't miss the point completely. You know, it wasn't like I was just thinking, oh, don't do this hunger strike. It's a waste of time. You know, I don't want to lose you. It wasn't as simple as that. I understood what he was trying to aim at, but not as clearly as I do now. Since researching this film about him, I've looked a lot into the IRA hunger strikers, which I knew about before, but now I really understand the significance, you know, of the IRA hunger strikes and the impact. So, and he studied those. So I probably didn't get the point, but I did understand some of the point. Anyway, nothing changes on its own. There is no natural evolution for change. Things only change when we make them change. And that's what this hunger strike is about. It's about changing the overall picture so it's not the same as it was. And that's true of the second hunger strike and the first and the campaigns in between. Like on a TV, change the colour, change the sound, change the picture, leave the evil of the past behind and move forwards always. Yeah, so very, very important point. So, and he's so on point with it. You know that I think because I've been guilty of this many, many times over the decades. Because we are we're so passionate and morally involved in this. We think we are right that these sentient creatures, individuals that happen to be whatever species they are, should deserve a chance. You know, that's all we're asking for. We're asking people to be nice to animals, isn't it? It's actually a really simple thing. People think, oh, animal liberation, animal rights, it's so complicated. No, just be nice to them. You know, leave the fucking animals alone, for fuck's sake. But I think we are all guilty, and like I said, I'm definitely felt like this, you know, because there's such a sturdy moral belief and love involved in it all, and passion, that I think we somehow feel like, yeah, it's got to come about because it's so unjust. It has to change that way. It's logical, it's practical, it's possible. So, you know, we think animal rights, animal liberation will happen, you know, because it should. But he's right, and over the decades, I have to say, you know, his words make more and more sense to me. His actions and words and everything make more and more sense to me, and I realise that he was spot on every time, even if I couldn't necessarily see it back then. And that is the fact that things won't change because it's morally right. They won't. There's not a tide of moral change that inevitably goes with the flow of the force of good. It doesn't work like that. And I can tell you, having, you know, at the age I'm at now, which is 2 years older than Barry was when he died, you know, which is weird for me. So weird. Fucking weird as hell. Because of that, you know, I've been around long enough to see that change. The only way change does happen is when people make it happen, you know, and that's not by petitions and outreach, in my opinion. Okay, as you know. So, it's such an important point, you know, that things won't change on their own. But I think then, as I kind of feel now, I wonder if any human's life or the life of my friend is worth what has come out of it. You know, has enough change taken place? It's a it's a very hard one to try and. I tell myself that it was worth it somehow. Um, so that was his answer to me trying to get him off the hunger strike. Because I didn't want him to die. No, fuck's sake. Very painful. It's still very painful now because it was so extraordinary and odd. You know. Anyway, so I was asking about a prisoner because I'd heard that she might be in some trouble. The prisoner was talking about, who has been something, is, and he gives a name, Rebecca Green, gives a prison number, and he gives me her address to write to her. Doing 12 months for Hillgrove. I don't think she's actually gone on protection, but may be wrong about that, because I was worried she'd had to put herself on protection from being bullied in a prison or some story like that I might have heard. So I was asking him if he'd heard anything. But look, there he is. He's giving this woman's, where is it? Here. He's giving me this woman's prison address number to encourage me to write to her. See, this is what I was saying in the appeal episode about Barry was very kind. You know, he supported people who put their freedom on the line for animals. He was kind to people. You know, he liked to look after his own and the good people. Did you hear there was a demo in Sweden outside the British Embassy in support of the hunger strike? A bit of the old flag burning. Always good to see the Union Jack going up in flames! Exclamation mark. Anyway, the embassy accepted a letter from them and promised to forward it to the British government, which means it got filed in the usual place! Exclamation mark. Which I think he means is the bin. But hey, it's the thought that counts, right? Yeah, it really was. I mean, you know, like, people were doing that in the USA as well, burning the Union Jack. They couldn't think of much else to do. Jake Conroy on the Cranky Vegan and Radicals and Revolutionaries podcast about Barry, I think he mentions it there, how they burnt the flag, the Union Jack. Barry loved that, as did all of us, you know. Barry's mates were like, yeah, they're burning the Union Jack in Sweden and America. I've burned the Union Jack before on anti-war marches, like, decades ago. Well, my head's a bit fucked at the moment, Max, so I'm going to leave it at that. What he means is that I know this, as part of his thing, was he focusing on the letter was really quite hard work, because of the lack of energy in his body, you know, the lack of glucose and energy, basically, any storage. So I'm going to leave it at that. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday. I'll be listening out for your megaphone, so get it going. Because we're going to have a demo outside the prison for him while my partner and other people visit him. Love and solidarity, mate. Take care now for the cause, Barry. You know, what a guy. What an absolute fucking legend. What a fucking legend. So I want to keep this quite short, actually. What is there to say? You know, it's 21 years. 21 years is 21 years tomorrow. But I wanted to read that out today because I can't make it down to LabCorp. And they were outside the gates of LabCorp having a demo for Barry, from remembering him right now. So, and seeing as that letter was written exactly 24 years ago today, I thought today was a good day to get it done and upload it. So it's up there for tomorrow, for the 5th, his anniversary. You know, I think all of his old friends feel the same when it comes to this time of year, that we feel sad, very sad, confused how so much time has gone past, and I'm sure the others miss him as much as I do. You know, it's sometimes I think there was the animal liberation movement when Barry was alive and around and involved in it, and there's the animal liberation movement after, and you know, that's bound to be kind of influenced by my personal friendship and experiences and all that business. But I think on a practical level, the movement it's got a big fucking piece missing, man. The movement's missing, missing its best. I mean, it's very hard. So, you know, this episode is kind of more about my feelings as a friend, I guess, with the 21 years has passed, which is very sad and confused how so much time has gone, and trying to think of him and the memories and the good times. Do feel quite a long time ago now, but at the same time, you know, I feel like I can almost touch on those days, you know, going down Northampton Labour Club for a drink, because that's where Barry's drinking spot was, because it's cheap. It's like a working people's club sort of thing in Northampton, very cheap beer on tap. And so Barry and his mates used to go there, and I went there a couple of times with them down the pub. Barry would get pissed and just rant about animal rights all night. One of my old mates that ended up living with him, one of these times down to the Labour Club, I think we'd already had a couple back at the house or whatever, and we were sort of marching jolly like. It was dark, so I don't know what month it was. This would be, I think this is the spring of '95, I think, maybe. Um, Somewhere around then, perhaps. And we're all walking to the pub. Barry was ahead of us, ranting away to whoever was next to him. And me and my old mate were chatting. And he was living with Barry. And he goes, I love Barry and all that, but fucking hell, sometimes I think, is there any conversation apart from animal rights you can have? And I think that sums it up. You know, he was so dedicated to it all. That's what he thought about. It's what he talked about. It's what he wrote about. You know, and it's what he took action about, and it's what he went to prison for. He was an animal liberationist extraordinaire. He was. And we're not licking his ass by saying that. We're just giving him respect for the full-on mental focus and dedication he gave. And that's why we all miss him so much. Because it's not just our personal loss, it's the fact that we feel like, well, one of our gang's gone. I mean, a lot of our gang have gone. I hate to say it, you know, half of them have gone now. But he was taken from us in such extraordinary, weird circumstances. And I think we really miss him as part of our gang. And we all miss him, and we all miss the old days. I know that because I speak to the others regularly enough. All Barry's old friends, I keep in touch with most of them to some degree, if not regularly. And, you know, oh, what a loss. But to focus on the positive, I think Barry would be very proud of some of the people and what they're doing these days, right now, bringing vivisection back onto the agenda. Hopefully going to impact on IMPEX and then MBR and then LabCorp and then the whole vivisection industry and then the whole of animal abuse, just like he said and was his plan. So we can execute his plan together, and that means that every one of you that is inspired by him, tell someone else about him. Tell everyone you know. Tell your family all about him. Tell everyone about Barry Horne. Let's get everyone inspired to do things and be active in the animal liberation movement, not illegal stuff, you know. But let's do that. Let's use Barry's legacy and his influence and the bar that he set so high to do something positive. So I want to end this on a positive note, not just me feeling quite sad about it all. Because it'd be too easy for me to feel defeated, desperate, and all that sort of stuff. Like there's just no hope and whatever else. And where's Barry? And I just miss Barry. I just want Barry back or whatever. You know, I have to accept reality. But on a positive note, I think he'd be very proud of lots of you, and I hope that you're proud of him, as we all are, his close friends. So here we are. Respect to Barry Horne, Mr. fucking Barry Horne. Absolute legend, like I say. Not a hero, but total legend. 2,000 years from now, people will still be talking about Barry Horne. Anyway, so 21 years on from his death, sad as it is, let's all take inspiration from him. Let's all execute his plan. Let's execute Barry's plan. Get rid of vivisection, then get rid of animal abuse, then spread it around the world. And people that say, oh, that's not possible. No, it's the people that say global animal liberation or animal liberation isn't possible that make it impossible. because they're already talking language of defeat before they've begun, those people. Like, it's the people that say, yeah, we are going to get animal liberation. We are going to get it. It's going to be tangible. All the labs will have gone. The breeders, the fur farms, the factory farms, the slaughterhouses, all of this disgusting treatment of other species is going to go. We are going to do it. We are going to do it. Even if it's one company at a time and it takes 1,000 years, we'll do it. Perhaps this thing will experience exponential growth and will become a mass radical movement, which is what Barry would have wanted, and it's what I'd like to see. Nothing illegal, but let's execute Barry's plan. Destroy vivisection, destroy animal abuse, then take it worldwide. Start off one company at a time. Impex, MBR, LabCorp. That's the step ladder. Boom, boom, boom. Let's build a massive radical movement, and let's do it. And remember Barry as we're doing it, and take inspiration from him. And so his sacrifices and his death weren't in vain, because they've inspired us, and we're going to carry on the battle as he laid out for us all to follow, because it's a fucking great plan. I wouldn't be following Barry's plan if I didn't agree with it as a good plan in itself. It's a fucking brilliant plan. It's logical and it's practical. He showed us how we can achieve animal liberation. So in the meantime, everyone, 21 years gone but not forgotten. Take care.
Barry Horne, your death was not in vain. Their example has failed, your death helped us unite. There's many who are sleeping, who are now awake to fight. But a man died for the animals to teach the world their plight. Has made the masses wonder.